It's the opposite of how most men try to create that safety, by controlling. And what that does is make their emotions unsafe for them to express. And if they think they can't express their emotions because you can't handle it, then it becomes very hard for them to truly trust you with their heart.
Hold on real quick. I noticed that only 3% of the people who watch this channel are actually subscribed. Could you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button? It helps the channel tremendously. And the bigger that the channel gets, the better the podcast will get. I appreciate you and enjoy the video.
How does a man make their woman feel safe? And is this something you're figuring out too, or?
No,
And I guess there's also not a blanket answer, right? But to your best of your ability, how do you make a woman feel safe?
So, I was laughing because I had a relationship that ended, that I was unable to do that thing. I tried my absolute best, and I could not create safety for her. And I sat with the question after that relationship ended of whether or not it was her inability to feel safe. It wouldn't have mattered what guy. She just had not done the healing work around her father wound and all of these things to actually trust the masculine. Or was I just not good enough, strong enough of something in some way? Did I not have enough skill or knowledge to create that safety? And so in hindsight, looking back, I think it was a combination of both. It might be a cop-out answer a little bit, but there was work that she's done since, and I know, and she was the one that said to me, I was not able to regulate my nervous. I was not able to do these things while in relationship with you. I had to go and learn all these things and read all these books and take all these workshops and work with these coaches and all these things. And now I can be in relationship differently. And so there's that aspect. And I think that's really important to own, because there are so many men beating themselves up for being with women who don't trust them or don't feel safe in the relationship. And the men are thinking it's all them, that they're bad people or they're doing something wrong. And sometimes the feminine has to do the work. And then as a man, we also have to do the work. Mm-hmm. And what does that look like?
How do you know the difference between whether it's you and your lack of ability to make her feel safe, or they're the person that needs to do the work?
I don't think you do. I actually, I don't think you do. I think it will reveal itself through the relationship not working. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those two things. The relationship is not working. And what it most commonly looks like is just there's this undercurrent of fighting and testing and like just this two alphas almost in the space. And what the feminine really wants is to surrender into the masculine leadership. That's a really big piece. And so that dynamic is only possible if the feminine really trusts the masculine. And so now, as a man, there are a lot of ways that I can create safety. One of the most important is recognizing that most women, their greatest fear, karmic wound, is that they are too much. That if they let all of themselves be known, all of their desires be felt, all of their emotion be seen, all of them be present, that they will be rejected for it. That they will be told, you're too much, too crazy, too whatever, because most women at some point have been told that. And so as a man, which by the way, men, our wound is that we're not enough. That no matter what we do, no matter how hard we try, it will never be enough. And so when we understand these wounds, we can show up for each other to be with each other in that space. And so as a man relating with a woman, knowing that her fear might be being too much, when she brings her storm, I have to be able to hold it. I have to be able to hold the type of presence that lets her know, hey, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm with you. And the best example I have of what I had to learn how to do and what that actually practically looks like is in a, with an ex-girlfriend of mine. We had been broken up for a while, like maybe 6 months or something. And we were in that space of, hey, should we try again? Should we get back together? A lot of people know what that's like. And we were having this conversation and she asked me if I'd slept with anyone else. And I shared with her, yes, I have. And she lost it. She got really upset. And that turned into, because with her fight or flight, it's fight. That's her personality. And so it became, oh, this shows me who you really are. And I've lost so much respect for you and all of these things, like trying to tear down at me, right? And what I said to her was, after a bunch of that, was, hey, I understand that you're hurt. I understand why you're upset. And I am willing to be here in that with you as you move through that and process that, as long as we are in the reality in which I am still deserving of respect, in which I didn't do anything out of integrity, in which I can stand behind my actions and that's okay. And your hurt is still valid too. But I will not hold space for you to be in the reality in which I am not deserving of respect and I'm out of integrity. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't break any covenant with you. There were no promises broken. And so I held space. I held that line and then held space for her to be upset for like 2 hours until eventually that moment where it was, and it had moved through and we can meet. And that's a very practical example of the ways I know of how to create safety. It's saying, hey, everything you're feeling is totally welcome, but still giving the masculine container of, but we're not going outside the lines here.
Right.
Right? And that containment in a healthy, loving way that they can feel, where inside of that room that energetically we've created, they can lose their shit. That creates safety. And it's the opposite of how most men try to create that safety, by controlling. And what that does is make their emotions unsafe for them to express. And if they think they can't express their emotions because you can't handle it, then it becomes very hard for them to truly trust you with their heart.